to share with you how I handle grocery shopping and meal planning and meal making as a busy mom of young children. Now, it's something that has never been fun for me and used to be very overwhelming. But I have learned some things, and I want to share these tips and ideas with you, and maybe it will simplify things for you too. My name is Melinda. I'm a mom of 4 young children, ages 8 and under, and my family and I live in Costa Rica. In this video, you will see me preparing a chili soup and cornbread for a special family night we like to have about once a week. It's not that I make such a special meal. It's actually a fairly common meal, but we try to make a special time for just us as family with pretty dishes and some little extras, and then to spend time together because we have many evenings where we're not all together or where things have to be done work-wise or something or other where it's busy, and we just try to make this intentional time to be together as a family. So you're welcome to join me in the kitchen for a bit of preparation for our family fun night, as we like to call it. But I want to share especially about how I do meals and grocery shopping because maybe you, like me, need some ideas or need some help. I will say my mom I do believe she taught me cooking and so on, but there's one thing to be cooking in your mother's house and another thing to be in charge of making sure that you have the ingredients on hand and have to plan all the meals and make all the meals. And so I do think it was a bit hard for me to get used to some of this, but it gets easier with time and with practice, that it does. Growing families use lots of food. Ours are just little, but keeping their tummies filled and hopefully with healthy meals, or at least not junk food, it takes a lot of time. So one of my favorite tricks or tips is to cook simply. It doesn't need to be a big fancy meal. Now I know this might be a difference if your husband would want more food, but children actually usually if they get used to it, they're happy with just the simplest meals, normal common meals, over and over. And children can be taught to enjoy simple meals. We do have some who are somewhat picky eaters, and that is something we're working on. But yes, they do enjoy it, mostly the simple meals, and that has helped me a lot. Another thing that really helped me is to learn to cook without recipes. I used to use recipes for everything, but I found out once I learned to cook without recipes, it was just so much easier. I'll tell you more later how I managed to do that. In the video, you can see talking a bit about grocery shopping. I have never liked shopping. It's not something relaxing. And a few months ago, I discovered we could have them bring our groceries to our door by ordering through Walmart. And that has been such a lifesaver in this season of life for several things with little people going out shopping. Now I can just make my order when they're sleeping, and when the groceries come. This time I didn't have time to clean up the stuff, and I don't have anywhere else to put it, so I just put it on my sofa, and then either later in the evening or the next day I can get it cleaned up. And just to not have to leave the house has made such a difference for me, since I don't enjoy it. Now, if you do enjoy shopping and it's de-stressing for you, then maybe you should, but for me it is very stressful. This also came in really handy when I couldn't drive for a while. I mean, my husband would do the shopping, but his work keeps him pretty busy. But when I couldn't drive after I broke my arm in December, and it's just something that I have found for this season of life is a big blessing. Online grocery orders. Otherwise, what I would sometimes do is take 1 or 2 of the children at a time. The rest I could leave with someone else and just go and get a grocery shopping list. I always have a master grocery list, which is a big list of all my groceries I need, and so I just look over it before making a list, and that makes sure I don't miss things that are almost running out, because I check out on everything. And having a set time to go shopping, I try to limit the orders to once a month. That really helps me. With keeping track a little bit, I can see about how much we order in a month. We do have the benefit of fresh fruit and vegetables coming in a truck once a week to our door, and fresh milk coming twice a week to our door. So blessed, I know. So those are some of the things that have really helped me to just organize myself a bit with the grocery shopping. So I mentioned I cook simply and without recipes, and that is if I do not like menu planning. It doesn't work for me. Really, it has never worked. I've tried to make it work. But instead, if I always keep the main basics on hand, and it's just easy to plan. Like sometimes I plan for the next day or something, but it's a good idea, like taking out the meat that you'll need the next day, taking it out of the freezer so that you can use it the next day. All that is helpful. But I do not have a meal plan for a week out. I think it would turn out way more expensive than just having all the basics and the staples on hand and just cooking with that. I do get extras sometimes and special differences. And once in a while we decide we want something extra and then we get the stuff. But it's not in general I think menu plans actually end up being more expensive on the whole. At least for me they would be, because then I'd be trying to make all these special meals without having, or by buying all the groceries, and I just, with my basic staples, make what I can and from what I have on hand. Another tip that you could do is prepare food in batches. I've been trying to do it more now during the school year. I don't always manage, but making 2 meals at a time. I always cook rice and beans by the pot full and keep them in the fridge and just reheat what we need each day. If you do this based on whatever foods you eat, a lot of it might save you a lot of time. You can double your food and make freezer meals. I've done that sometimes. It can be so handy for days when you don't have time. Like I mentioned with school teaching, it is hard to come home from teaching, just our homeschooling, but we do it out of our home, and get right into meal making. But some of these things have made it easier. I try to do my baking once a week or once every 2 weeks. I make a bunch of breads, stick it already sliced into the freezer, and some cookies or other stuff to pull out for whenever we need. Because some of that stuff just isn't my favorite stuff to do. But the more I do it and when I get used to it, I can enjoy it. I find enjoyment. It's just not something I would do for a hobby. And the more years I spend with it, and depending on the season of life, I have the opportunity to learn new meals, new ways of cooking to make more nutritious meals. Another tip I would say, and maybe I've mentioned it already, but is repeat your favorite simple meals. Our breakfasts usually revolve around the same basics, with eggs or fried plantains or toast or oatmeal or granola, or a bit of almost all of that. Once in a while I might do pancakes or something different. Our noon meal is our biggest meal of the day. Usually it's just rice and beans and salad and meat done in different ways. But sometimes I do something different like noodles or potatoes. And the evening meal, supper, is often a simpler meal for us, more in the sandwich line, or tortillas with beans or something like that. Our simple meals are some things like that we repeat just every week about. Find what works for you. What might work for someone else might not work for you. Like meal planning doesn't work for me, but it might work for you. And I hope some of these tips could have been an encouragement for you wherever you are in your shopping journey and meal making journey. If you're a young mom getting into it, it might be tough, but it will get easier with time. Take heart. You're doing something beautiful for your family by giving them nourishing meals. If you didn't learn the skills earlier in life, you can still learn now. Start with one thing at a time. learn to make things from memory and then add something else. And eventually you'll find out that making good food isn't so hard, and it will get easier to fit it into your busy schedule, even with little ones around. It can be tough because they get hungry so soon, but it can also be something that doesn't feel so hard after you get enough practice. Thank you for joining me in today's video, and you're welcome to subscribe, follow along for more about living in Costa Rica, how life is for us out here, about tips for homeschooling and homemaking, and for busy moms of little ones, doing the best we can in this season of life. See you next time.
But how can Daddy get him out?
I have to wait and see.